In the middle of a big green forest, there was a special tree. It was called the rainbow fruit tree. This tree was tall and full of fruits that sparkled in the sunlight. The fruits were red, yellow, purple, and even blue. They were round, juicy, and very sweet. All the animals in the forest loved the fruit, but the tree did not grow often. It only gave fruit once a year. Each year, the forest animals would wait under the tree on the special day. They would all take turns to pick just one fruit each. It was a rule made by the Forest Council so that everyone could get a fair share. Now, in that same forest lived a clever but sneaky fox named Fino. Fino had shiny orange fur, small black paws, and a very bushy tail. He was known for his tricks. Fino liked to hide things that didn't belong to him. He once stole Polly the parrot's berries and hid them in his burrow. This year, Fino really wanted more than one fruit. "I'm so tired of just one small fruit," Fino grumbled. "If I take more, no one will notice. There are so many fruits." So the night before the special day, when all the animals were asleep, Fino crept out of his burrow. The moon was high and the forest was quiet. He tiptoed past the sleeping squirrels and walked silently through the tall grass. When he got to the rainbow fruit tree, he looked up and smiled. "There you are, my sweet treasure," he whispered. Fino climbed the tree and filled a small brown bag with many fruits. Red ones, purple ones, even the glowing blue one that only grew once every 3 years. By morning, he had stolen 7 fruits. He ran back to his burrow, hid the fruits under his bed of dry leaves, and licked his lips. Juicy and soft. "No one will ever know," he said, chewing happily. But Fino was wrong. The next morning, the animals gathered under the tree. They were singing and dancing, happy to see the beautiful fruits. Pastor Tortoise, the wise old tortoise, stepped forward and said, "Let us begin the harvest, one fruit for each, with joy in our hearts." But when the animals looked closely, many fruits were missing. "Hey, the blue fruit is gone!" shouted Benny the badger. "Even the high purple ones are missing!" cried Rita the rabbit. Everyone began to panic. "Who would do this?" asked Ellie the elephant, stomping her foot. Pastor Tortoise looked around with sad eyes. "This is not right," he said quietly. "Someone in the forest broke our trust." The forest turned quiet. No one smiled. No one danced anymore. Everyone felt upset. Fino stood among them, pretending to be shocked. "Oh no, what a bad thief," he said loudly, hiding a smile. But deep inside, Fino felt a small poke in his heart. His ears drooped a little. His tail didn't swish the way it usually did. He went home that night and looked at the pile of stolen fruits. They were still shiny, still sweet, still perfect. But suddenly, Fino didn't feel happy anymore. He sat by the door of his burrow, looking up at the stars. "Why doesn't the fruit taste as good anymore?" he whispered. And just then, a strange thing happened. One of the glowing blue fruits began to turn dull. That night, Fino could not sleep. He rolled to the left. He rolled to the right. He fluffed his tail and tucked it under his chin. But still, no sleep. The fruits were glowing faintly under his bed of leaves, but the glow wasn't beautiful anymore. It felt strange. The colors seemed dim. The blue fruit, once bright like the sky, had turned gray. It looked like a sad balloon. Fino finally closed his eyes and drifted off. But as soon as he did, he had a dream. In the dream, Fino was standing all alone in front of the rainbow fruit tree. The sky above was dark. The tree looked tired, its branches drooping. No birds chirped, no bees buzzed, no laughter. Suddenly, the blue fruit spoke. Its voice was soft, but full of power. "Fino, why did you take what was not yours?" Fino jumped. He looked around. No one was there. "Fino, you broke the joy of the forest," the fruit said again. "I just wanted more," Fino replied sadly. "I didn't think it would hurt anyone. But now everyone is hurt. The animals are sad. The tree is sad. And you? Are you truly happy?" Fino looked down. He touched his stomach. It was full of sweet fruit, but he didn't feel full inside. He felt empty. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I didn't mean to ruin the day." The tree slowly bent down, and its branches wrapped around him. "Then make it right, dear fox." Fino woke up suddenly. His heart was beating fast. His fur was damp with sweat. It was still night, but the sky was turning light blue. The dream felt so real. He looked at the dull blue fruit. "I have to fix this," he said to himself. "I have to do the right thing." Before the sun fully rose, Fino tied all the fruits in a cloth. He carried them on his back and tiptoed out of his burrow. The forest was still quiet. Birds were just beginning to chirp. The dew on the grass tickled his paws. He walked slowly to the rainbow fruit tree. No one was there yet. "I'll just, put them back," he said. But just as he reached to hang the blue fruit on a branch, "Fino," a small voice called behind him. Fino turned quickly. It was Rita the Rabbit. Her big ears twitched. "What are you doing with those fruits?" she asked. Fino froze. He didn't know what to say. I took them," he said at last, looking down. "I'm sorry, Rita. I was selfish." Rita's eyes went wide, but then her face softened. "You're bringing them back?" "Yes," said Fino. "I had a dream. I felt bad. I don't want the forest to be sad anymore." Just then, Pastor Tortoise walked out from behind the bushes. Behind him came Benny, Polly, Ellie, Coco the monkey, and more animals. They had all heard the truth. The forest was silent again. Fino felt very small. "I understand if you don't want me here anymore," he whispered. But Pastor Tortoise walked forward, slowly and gently. He placed a hand on Fino's shoulder. "We all make mistakes," he said, "but only the brave return to make them right." Rita smiled and nodded. Ellie stepped forward and lifted the fruits gently. "Let's hang them back. The fruit is sweeter when shared." Fino looked up, surprised. "You forgive me?" "Yes," said Pastor Tortoise, "but only if you join us this time the right way." Fino felt his heart grow warm. A real smile stretched across his face. Not a sneaky one, a true, happy one. He joined the others as they placed the fruits back. Even the blue one began to glow again. And when the sun rose fully and the animals stood once more under the tree, this time Fino was right there beside them, waiting his turn. He picked just one fruit. It was red, round, juicy, and it was the sweetest fruit he had ever tasted. The forest was filled with joy again. After Fino returned the fruits and said sorry, something special happened. The rainbow fruit tree grew more fruits. Not just a few, but twice as many as before. The animals gasped as new red, gold, purple, and silver fruits began to bloom right before their eyes. Even the glowing blue fruit, once dull and gray, was now brighter than ever. The wind danced through the leaves. The birds sang loudly. The sun smiled over the forest. "It's a miracle," shouted Polly the parrot. "The tree is happy again," said Pastor Tortoise, "because forgiveness has come." Fino watched quietly. He didn't feel sneaky or greedy anymore. He felt something he had never felt before: peace. Later that day, the animals gathered at the big flat rock in the center of the forest. This was where they made decisions and held meetings. Pastor Tortoise stood on top of the rock with his little walking stick. He tapped 3 times. Tap, tap, tap. "Friends," he said, "today is special. Not only did our fruit tree give more than ever before, But one of us showed great courage. All eyes turned to Fino. The fox looked down, shyly. His orange fur gleamed in the sunlight, but his ears were tilted. Pastor Tortoise smiled. Fino made a mistake, but he chose to fix it. He didn't run away. He returned what he took and told the truth. The animals nodded. From this day on, Pastor Tortoise continued, we will not only celebrate the rainbow fruit harvest, we will also celebrate something new. Everyone leaned in. The Festival of Forgiveness. The animals cheered. What will we do at the festival? Asked Coco the monkey, swinging on a vine. Pastor Tortoise chuckled. Each year after we harvest the fruits, we will sit together and tell one kind story. We will remember that saying sorry is strong and forgiving is even stronger. Rita the Rabbit clapped her paws. Can we wear fruit hats too? The crowd laughed. Yes, said Pastor Tortoise. Fruit hats, music, and sweet juice for everyone. As the sun set, the forest animals danced and sang around a glowing fire. They wore silly fruit hats made from banana peels, melon rinds, and coconut shells. Fino sat beside Rita and Ellie. He had made a hat out of grape skins and a little flower. This feels nice, he said softly. You look happy, Ellie the Elephant said. I am, said Fino. For the first time, I didn't have to trick anyone to feel good. Rita passed him a slice of fruit pie. Being honest tastes better, doesn't it? Fino took a bite. Much better. Above them, the stars twinkled. The rainbow fruit tree glowed in the distance. And in that moment, Fino the Fox, once known for stealing, became something new. He became Fino the Honest. Many days passed after the Festival of Forgiveness. The forest was happier than ever. The rainbow fruit tree stayed full longer than usual, and its sweet smell filled the air. Fino the Fox was no longer called sneaky or tricky. Instead, animals smiled and waved when they saw him. Good morning, Fino. Look, it's Fino the Honest. But deep inside, Fino wanted to do more. He didn't just want to say sorry, he wanted to live kindly every day. I want to help someone, not just myself, he said one morning as he looked out of his burrow. And that chance came faster than he thought. One rainy afternoon, Fino was walking through the woods when he heard something strange. Sniffle, sniffle, sob. It was soft, like a child crying. Fino's ears perked up. He followed the sound through the wet leaves until he found Tina the turtle. She was very young, with a tiny shell and big round eyes full of tears. Tina? What's wrong? Fino asked gently. I lost my basket, Tina sniffled. It had all my forest berries inside. I was going to share them with my grandma. Fino looked around. The rain had washed leaves everywhere. Don't worry, he said. I'll help you find it. You will? Tina blinked. Fino nodded. Let's find it together. Fino and Tina searched under bushes, around trees, and near the river. Fino even climbed a short tree to look from above. At last, he saw something caught in a branch by the river. It was the little basket. Fino ran and carefully pulled it down. Most of the berries were still safe. Here you go, he smiled, handing it to Tina. Tina's eyes sparkled. Thank you, Fino. She hugged him around his leg. You're my hero. Fino's heart felt warm again. No trick. No stealing. Just helping, he said to himself. This feels better than any fruit I've ever eaten. That evening, the animals met under the rainbow fruit tree again. Tina ran up and shouted, Fino helped me. He found my berries in the rain. The animals clapped and cheered. Pastor Tortoise stepped forward once more. Fino, today you showed kindness, not because anyone told you to, but because your heart is changing. Fino's ears turned pink. He smiled. Thank you, he said. I just wanted to make things right. Pastor Tortoise reached into his leafy bag and brought out a shiny ribbon made from banana peels and forest vines. This is the ribbon of good deeds, he announced, and you, Fino, have earned it. All the animals cheered loudly. Even Ellie the Elephant blew her trumpet trunk in joy. From that day on, Fino helped the younger animals find food, showed them safe paths, and even gave away his own share of fruit to those who had none. He no longer wanted more than others, because he had found something better than stealing. He had found friendship, honesty, and the joy of giving. And so the fox who once took what wasn't his became the forest's kindest helper. And every year during the Festival of Forgiveness, the animals told his story under the rainbow fruit tree. A story about a fox who made a mistake, but chose to make it right.